So let's move on to the DPP4 inhibitors. These are the gliptins, so they all end in gliptin, linagliptin, sitagliptin, saxagliptin. And as already mentioned, DPP4 inhibitors. So it turns out that GLP-1 and also GIP-1 is broken down by DPP4. So if you're going to add a drug that is a DPP4 inhibitor, you're going to just increase the levels of these hormones. Now, you may think, well, then this should work exactly like a GLP-1 agonist. But it does not. It does not share all the effects that a GLP-1 agonist has. It may just be that, DPP4 is not very specific, so it takes care of many of the hormones and maybe some of the effects cancel each other out. So it's really not the same as a GLP-1 agonist. It's much more limited in its effects. So I want to ask a question again, how do they affect A1C? They affect it just minimally. They lower A1C below 1%, so they are in the category of low efficacy drugs. No hypoglycemia and weight neutral. So again, you may think they should be similar to a GLP-1 agonist, but they are not. They're much less efficacious and also do not seem to change our weight. Let's think about the adverse effects of the gliptins. It turns out that they increase the risk of infections. DPP4 is found on immune cells, so that could have a reason for the increased risk of infections, upper respiratory infections, UTIs, nasopharyngitis, always when you see the ending itis, some sort of inflammation, rash, arthralgias, also angioedema, and DPP4 breaks down bradykinin. So I hope you know another drug class that has an increased risk of angioedema and that you may not want to combine with these drugs. And I hope you say now, well, the prils, captoprils, ACE inhibitor. ACE also breaks down bradykinin. So that's another important adverse effect. Also some contraindications that you should be aware of. It turns out that saxagliptin leads to an increased risk of hospitalizations with heart failure, so heart failure hospitalizations. So heart failure is a contraindication, as well as pancreatitis. So it's also an inflammation, and this is also considered a contraindication if you have already pancreatitis. That's all for the DPP4 inhibitors.